Welcome to the online worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Today is March 29th, 2020.
Good morning. Reading number 434. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
Our opening hymn is We Would Be One. Please rise in spirit. For our call to worship, please read with me our mission statement. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Once again, welcome to the online worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. We invite you to worship with us with an open mind and an open heart. Today we have Reverend Suji Fox speaking on family values and the GDP. Suji's sermon description says, the terms family values and gross national product have been co-opted over generations to give strict definitions of the feminine and masculine. In this service, Suji will discuss the feminine influence on families as well as on the gross national product. And the feminine, like the ocean, rolls, strides, turns, guides, hurdles, crashes, marches, expands, contracts, and rejoices. Suji Fox, Lois Okenauer Fox, has passionate experience as a public school teacher, personal and spiritual growth coach, political activist, and musician. An ardent student of A Course in Miracles for decades, Suji also ministered at the 120-year-old Home of Truth in Northern California's Bay Area for 4 years. Her goal is to help people and herself to realize that we're all one. We have a couple of announcements we would like for you to keep in mind. Camp to Benneville Pines registration for summer and fall adult and family camps will open at 7 a.m. on April 1st. Go to the camp's website, www.uucamp.org, and click on the Register for Camp button. There's been a lot of coronavirus, COVID-19, hype and misinformation circulating. You can get the most accurate and up-to-date information specific to Riverside County and San Bernardino County at these websites. The Riverside University Health System Public Health Coronavirus Updates are at www.rivcoph.org/coronavirus. The San Bernardino County Public Health Coronavirus Updates are at wp.sbcounty.gov/dph/coronavirus. Let us acknowledge that we walk upon the traditional territories of the Moronga, the original people of this land, who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. In honor of the Moronga people, we, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, light this sacred flame as the stewards of this sacred and holy place. We are blessed with a space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to live out our dream of a world community of peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. The chalice is the sacred symbol of our faith. We light it to remind us of the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope.
Title is We Gather This Hour. The author is Christine Robinson. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share.
Our next hymn is Joy, Thou Goddess. Please rise once more in spirit. Sharing joys and concerns is an important part of belonging to this beloved community. Our caring network will collect them during each week. Then on each Sunday, we will read what has been received since the previous Sunday. Please email or text your joys and concerns to Dinah Rowe, our caring network coordinator. Her email is ramblinrose22, RAMBLINROES22 @yahoo.com. Her cell phone number is 909-645-2885. Dinah's phone can receive texts, but it has been having trouble receiving phone calls. If you wish to talk with Dinah, please call Bill Rowe's cell phone, 909-835-5467. We received one concern this week. Tom Blackburn has been sick with a very bad cold. A nurse has been coming to his home daily to check on him and take his temperature. He is getting better, but still has a bad cough. A concern, when shared, is divided. We place a stone in our water chalice for all the concerns we have. Know that we support each other. No specific joys were shared this week. We hope your week included something that gave you joy. A joy, when it is shared, is multiplied. We place a stone in our water chalice for all the joy we have. Know that we celebrate together. Sharing our stewardship is how we can give of ourselves. A word of caution. Several churches have had members receive scam donation emails pretending to be from their church or their pastor. If you receive an email asking for a donation, please verify that it did come from our church. Do not click on any link in the email, and do not reply to the email. Send a separate email or give a call to our church office. The church office email is admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. The church office phone is 951-686-6515. We take 3 types of collections every week. The first 2 are for our Riverside community. We collect dry good food items for the food insecure, such as pasta, granola bars, crackers, and powdered milk. We also collect hygiene items for anyone who needs them, such as toothbrushes, travel-size soaps, shampoos, shaving kits, and socks. Our Social Justice Committee distributes these in front of our church every Thursday morning. Please email the church office to make an appointment to bring the food and hygiene items. Great Lakes script cards and Stater Brother cards can also be donated to help purchase food and hygiene items. You can get these through our church office. Once again, the church office email is admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. Our third collection is Sharing Our Treasure. This offering is how we fund all that we provide to our congregation and our neighbors. It is also how we care for our beloved and aging church. We have several ways that we can accept your donation. You may mail your donation to the church office. Please, no cash. Our church office address is Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, 3657 Lemon Street, Riverside, California, 92501. You can also make a digital donation. You may visit our website for a PayPal link at uuchurchofriverside.org/community/donate. If you have a smartphone, you may use the QR code displayed now to go to PayPal. Please donate as the Spirit moves you. Thank you for your generosity. And to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention.
For our meditation, number 505 by Thich Nhat Hanh. Please settle in your chair, breathe, and relax. Let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become wholly ourselves. Let us be aware of the source of being, common to us all and to all living things. Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and towards all living beings. Let us pray that we ourselves cease to be the cause of suffering to each other. With humility, with awareness of the existence of life and of the sufferings that are going on around us, let us practice the establishment of peace in our hearts and on earth. Amen. Good morning, friends. From my home to your home, in our own hallowed places, we're coming together to remember gratefully that we are all one. Let's be secure in knowing that we don't always need to be in physical proximity to others in order to realize that we are loved, respected, and honored. So please sit, breathe, relax, embrace your own and our collective spiritual awareness. First, let's acknowledge that our country and world are in a very tough space. This period can feel like darkness and despair. It can seem like things are hopeless. Many are without foods, jobs, food, a home, even toilet paper. Our brave and selfless workers interacting with those having the virus are way too often without safeguards. Our own sadness turns to anger, and then our anger back to sadness. Our emotions can seem like they're on a roller coaster. Let's see if we can recognize our thoughts and feelings and the tiredness we experience about all of this. Let's feel the effects of this current situation and know that we're not alone. Perhaps we can even forgive those who have made this all more difficult than it may well have needed to be. But forgiveness isn't the absolute cure for making change. We must also face the facts, insist on the facts, and work to make the changes that affect the well-being of all of us. So, as March is Women's History Month, I want to talk about the feminist influences on making changes in our country and in the world. At long last, there's a growing wave of feminism on both families and the workplace outside the home. That is, feminist influence on family values and feminist influence on the GDP, the gross domestic product. I'll talk about that more. This influence has to do with how we do things, why we do them, and for whom we do them. These days, when we say feminist, we mean the part of our consciousness that welcomes and gives steady rise to gender equality, age equality, racial and ethnic equality, equality for the disabled, work equality, child rearing equality, health equality, wealth equality, and environmental equality. Women and men, girls and boys can all be feminists. To be feminist simply means creating real access to real opportunity for all people and for our earth. It embodies empathy. Let's talk about first the feminist influence on family values. Something we all know about. I'll just reiterate. As we know, over the generations, the term family values, has been defined by those largely in power or in control, and along strict, narrow ideas of what the roles of feminine and masculine should be. In ancient times, obviously, for practicality, the man hunted to keep the family alive, and the woman kept the fire, the food, the hut, and the children alive. Later, the woman, and then the man along with her, planted seeds and grew the food. Fast forward many centuries, the Industrial Revolution took place. Women and children joined the men in factories. Whoever worked in the factories made some money, though children worked either for room and board or for 10 to 20% of what adults made. And women doing the same work as men were paid less than the men and were not allowed to join unions. During that time, women fought tirelessly, and many died, as we know, for the right to vote. As someone in this church said recently, women have always made history, whether their character or deeds were recorded or not. Women have invented, discovered, taught, ministered, healed, labored, brought children into the world, and given them knowledge, wisdom, and compassion to be worthy souls in this world. I've often told my students that history books have been written largely by the victors, those with control over others, those who plundered, captured, dictated, and took lives. So yes, there are cruel and dangerous men in the world, and yes, there are cruel and dangerous women in the world. Perhaps it was the previous, age-old old-time female consciousness that went from submission to demands, saying something like this: I want a castle and slaughtered roasted lamb and exotic spices on my table, jewels and fragrances on my body, servants and slaves. And the previous old-time male consciousness said, I'll get those for you, no matter who or what I lay waste to. And we, meaning I, will rule. Today, we can say there is a new female consciousness and a new male consciousness that are learning to balance each other, right brain with left brain. The new female consciousness wants the world to have love and health and education and well-being and equality. The new male consciousness says, let's do it. Let's make a plan. Let's organize. Be proactive. Let's get it done. Hand in hand or within individual persons, the idea is born and gets put into place, into law, into the habits and practices of the world. And it is largely those who have been under the foot of others, ethnic minority groups, religious groups, poor, the old, the disabled, the children, the women, who, tired of oppression, have brought about and continue to effect changes for good. Some who have been part of wealth actually have seen the plight of those sufferers and brought improved conditions and consciousness to light. Remember, caring about the world and the earth is not a person. It's not about a person in a female body or a person in a male body. It's about a balance between right and left brain in each of us. Logic balanced with creativity, analytic with intuitive. The feminist view is about a frame of mind, a way of being, a tendency to inspire or to act, to plant a seed or to tend and harvest the seed. Anyone can do these depending on our individual propensities, personalities, and modus operandi. We all work together. I believe that when the term Christ was coined, it meant initiating and implementing love and goodness for all. Speaking up, taking care, making sure fairness and compassion are applied in every situation. And these skills are creating the balanced human being, the awakened, the Buddha, the Muhammad, the enlightened, the Christ self in each of us. Now, the concept of gross domestic product, like family values, has also been defined by those largely in power or control, and again, along strict, narrow guidelines of what the roles of feminine and masculine should be. In 1934, a defined version of the gross domestic product, GDP, was invented in our country for a U.S. Congress report. GDP has measured the productivity, consumption, investment, and government spending, plus exports minus imports. But each time GDP is announced, it is incorrectly assumed, or some folks want the rest of us to assume, that everyone is happy, everyone is treated fairly and respectfully. The economy is great, everyone is compensated justly for our efforts and contributions, and benefits are distributed equally. In 1968, Robert Kennedy said, GDP measures everything except that which is worthwhile. Rian Eisler, president of the Center for Partnership Studies and author of The Real Wealth of Nations, Creating a Caring Economics, noted, studies show that if caregiving work were included in GDP, it would constitute between 30% and 50% of the reported GDP. And let us remember that caregiving goes beyond child rearing to caring for elders and sick family members, also to cooking, housework, gardening, and maintenance, whether it's done by a woman or a man. Indian economist Bibek Debroy says, focusing exclusively on GDP and economic gain to measure development ignores the negative effects of economic growth on society, such as climate change and income inequality. It's time to take into account a society's quality of life. We're living in times of anxiety now. The GDP of old, yet current definition is more important to many in power today, unfortunately, than the well-being of all the nation's people and the earth. No thought of tomorrow or equality or the joy of living. We've seen the limitations placed on the roles people have played in families and in the economy, and we've seen that the results of those limitations do not work for the good of most people. Families are wherever we are and wherever we look. We're all a part of one or more families, whether of people who come together by birth, marriage, and adoption, or by sharing other common purposes and functions. We have been finding ways to improve the quality of life for those in less fortunate situations. Women are making laws, governing states, representing countries, writing treatises, making art and music, standing up and standing out, and still having babies, some of them, and still rearing children. Let's just take one more look at today's events. There is another way to look at the circumstances we're in. Perhaps we're at a turning point in the way we live, work, and interact. Maybe we can live life more simply. Hopefully, our country and our world will learn to eliminate the hierarchy that has been established by greed. Let us pray that this major crossroads is one where humanity will refocus our purposes on empathy. I'd like to illustrate the influence of the feminine taking her place in society by reading to you a poem I wrote in Monterey, California in 1973 on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Relentlessly the water comes and wears to nothing rocks already small. Similitude, vast blend of blues appearing one, you strut, you stride, you take aim and heave your way to earth. Now hushed, you turn and glide, the remnant cargo riding back with you. Your course commands, you pronounce the very creatures you deposit to their births and to their deaths. O self abiding everywhere, our power does not depend on shattered waste upon the shore, but in the gentle rolling out once more. Thank you, everyone, and God bless all of you. Goddess bless all of you. You know who you are. You know we are all connected, and I'm happy to have been here with you today. Hope to see you soon.
Our closing hymn is O God, Our Help in Ages Past. Please rise in spirit. For our benediction, please close your eyes and reach out to each other in your thoughts. Feel the connection between us, the interconnected web joining us as a community, a church family.
Our benediction, reading number 686 by Mark L. Bellatini. Go in peace. Go in peace. Live simply, gently, at home in yourselves. Act justly. Speak justly. Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance. Speak the truth or speak not. Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go with the dream of that peace alive in your heart.
Please find important information and links, including those given in this video, in the video description below. Thank you.